Welcome to On the Couch, a regular catch-up where we discuss the issues of the marketing world and hopefully come up with some solutions. Today I'm joined by Clive Duncan, who is a Senior Production Consultant with TrinityP3. Welcome, Clive.
Thank you, Darren, and thank you for the drink.
My pleasure. Look, you've spent most of your life working in production, in all sorts of roles, DOP, director, producer. What have you seen, or what do you think are the biggest technology innovations that have happened, or the biggest changes that have happened in film and television?
Well, the coming of the digital age is the major one, and the ability to manipulate the image within a computer, CGI, compositing,
3D animation,
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You can watch a movie now, or an ad now, or a television commercial now, and you can't tell what's been created digitally and what's been created in the camera. And it's given everybody in the industry incredible flexibility. Another one of them is actually the death of film, and that's only happened recently. And that's happened due to the developments in the hardware world, where they've what they needed to do to compete with movie films was make a camera sensor that was the same size as a piece of 35mm film. Once they did that, they could use 35mm lenses on a digital image. And 35mm lenses have set the standard, the world benchmark for what everybody accepts as high quality film.
So you see this as a positive thing, don't you?
Oh, of course. It's a lot cheaper. You don't have to buy and process film. What you do is you use hard drives, which have a certain cost, and you never ride over the top of them, otherwise you're sort of throwing out the baby with the bathwater. But it's a lot cheaper than the days of film, and also a lot safer. I mean, you can check your rushes or look at the quality of what you've shot long before it comes out of the lab, which is usually the next day. I know of instances where the production house wouldn't tear down the set until they got a clearance on the rushes.
Right.
So
make sure they had the job done.
That's right. So that's an extra day's rental on the studio. Right. So whereas they could be tearing down the set as soon as the first assistant calls wrap. Just little things like that. You can. I don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, but you can do take after take after take after take without it costing you a lot of money. But it does cost you time.
Now, because you've been a director and you've also worked with a lot of directors as producer, DOP and the like, and also in lots of different markets. What is it that makes a great commercials director?
A great commercials director is somebody that plans down to the most minute detail, because it's quite often the most minute detail that can trip you up.
Yeah.
And of course, not only do you plan it, but you discuss it with all the parties, all the way up to the senior marketing department, as well as the agency, and of course the production house. So the best director is a guy who, or lady for that matter, who delivers a great storyboard with all the timings, etc. done. And a good director will balance the entertain and engagement part of the commercial with the commercial message.
Yeah.
And that's important, that everybody makes sure that balance is right. So, and it's all discussed beforehand. So if there's any wastage, you can chop it out then and there before you chop it out and leave it on the cutting room floor, an old film term, but you're throwing money on the floor.
So it's not the director that goes, well, we'll just have the cameras running and, excuse the French, shoot the shit out of it.
No, it's not. It's not. And I mean, I've seen directors that did that, and it would cost an arm and a leg, and whether they brought much more to the actual piece of communication. Now you've got to remember that an ad is a piece of communication, not a piece of art. And when you start confusing the two, you get into big trouble and big costs.
Because there is a difference, isn't there, between long form like feature films and documentaries and TV shows and TV commercials.
Exactly.
So what's the main difference?
The main difference is cost. Now, what you get is when you're shooting a commercial, you're using freelance crews on their daily rate. And this typical freelance crew in, let's say, Australia, for instance, will cost you approximately $30,000 just to get them out of bed.
This is for a major TV commercial production. Yeah.
Standard TV, you know, once you've got makeup and hair and
grip
scaffers, the whole catastrophe, and the director's assistant, and the boom man and the sound guy and special effects guy, the food stylist, and all the hangers on. You know, not hangers on. That's unfair. The unit nurse, the people that carry drinks around and give them to all the crew so that they don't get dehydrated. They also rub suntan lotion onto them so they don't get sunburned. I mean, all these things, and it's not actually union driven. It's driven by wanting to get the most out of your crew, right? So you don't want them staggering around dehydrated, so you keep hydrating them. So there is a motive behind this pouring of energy into the crew. But the crew, on the other hand, work on a daily rate. Now, if you're shooting a feature film, you've got time to go and negotiate with the crew and say, I'm going to give you 6 weeks' work and I'm going to pay you twice your daily rate for a week.
So that's why we've sometimes seen TV commercials that have cost as much as a feature film.
Exactly.
Okay, so on that basis, and I get asked this question a lot, how much should a television commercial cost? How would you answer that?
Look, it depends on the script. It really does. I mean, major sets, locations, distant locations where you've got to take the entire crew to a desert island or a tropical island somewhere. Now, the great thing about a script is that your agency will tell you that the more expensive script will engage and entertain your potential clients more, and therefore it's worth spending the money. And as I said before, TV commercials are a communication tool, not a work of art.
So if there's a marketer out there about to commission or brief a TV campaign for production, what would be your advice on the most important thing they should do before they even start?
Well, they've got to set a budget. It's as simple as that. And setting a budget should be based on how much media you are going to buy. It's no good having a fabulous commercial if nobody sees it.
Of course.
So you've got to balance your spend with your media spend with your production budget. Fine examples of this: breweries. They have traditionally high production value commercials, but they spend millions of dollars on their media. A good ratio is 20% of your media spend should be what you're spending on your commercial.
As a rule of thumb.
As a rule of thumb. I mean, there are exceptions to every rule, of course, but that's a general rule of thumb.
Great advice, Clive. Cheers.
Cheers. And of course, if you don't know what you're doing, you can always call TrinityP3.
You can do that. And that was the advertisement brought to you by Clive Duncan.
And all the rest was entertainment and engagement.
So thanks for joining us on the couch. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more On the Couch coming soon. Cheers.